Hey guys, so I'm going to try something new, something different. We're going to try to do videos here. So what I'm going to do is have videos with lessons, and it'll be me teaching. So try to avoid Khan Academy. I'm trying to do something different. I'm trying to do something better. All we have to do is survive one more week. That's it. And then hopefully we'll be back at it. But there's a couple things I want to do this week to make sure that we feel like that it's not just a complete and total waste of time. And this one's pretty short, simple, to the point. I could do a few things and we can go on. And the one thing that I want to talk about, it's graphing functions and what they are and what they represent. And we will go into more graphing when we come back. Yay! So here's what we got. Here's where we're going with all of this stuff. So I'm going to try my best. Make all this work. It's been a while since I've used this, so be patient. Yes, I am using a free copy of Smart Notebook stuff. I don't need your criticism. So you're going to have this watermark there. It's there. Thanks, Smart Notebook, for allowing me to use your stuff for free. If you want to send me a full copy of it, greatly appreciated, and I will sponsor you because I love your stuff. But I don't love it enough to not, okay. So here's what we got. So we're going to be talking about graphs and what they mean and how they kind of relate to one another and how they all look. So the one cool thing that we have here is we're going to be talking about a lot of the variables. So there's two variables that we usually look at. So you look at what we have as the x coordinates, and we look at what we have as the y coordinates. So between these two things, usually 2 points of reference. So we have time that goes this way, we have volume that goes this way, and we're talking about airing up a balloon. So anytime you're airing up a balloon, un momento por favor, what we can see, got a balloon. Look at that. That's pretty neat. That is silly. All right, so what we're talking about is that over time, the balloon ends up going, okay, it's going to go up, 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 and then stay stagnant, and then it's going to go up, 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 stay stagnant, up, 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 stay stagnant, then get here, and then go straight down. So in an instant, it's gone. It doesn't exist. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this, but I'm going to try my best to replicate what this would actually look like, okay? So what I need is a slow, steady increase in volume, okay? That was a slow, steady increase in volume. 100%, it got a little bit bigger. Now it's staying stagnant. It hasn't changed volume, but time is still moving forward. So then it hits another slow increase in volume. There's another increase of volume. And then it stays stagnant for a little bit longer. And then it ends up going a little bit bigger. And then it kind of stays there. And then it starts going a little bit bigger. And then it instantly goes down, meaning that the volume no longer exists. So at one point, we have volume, and then all of a sudden, gone. So, but now here's the real question. What's happening? How does this thing go from this much volume to all of a sudden non-existent volume? Because here's the thing, is if I let go, that did exactly what I hoped it would. If I let go, this would be a slow trickle down, right? It wouldn't just end up going straight down. So we have to think, well, what's the thing that's actually happening to make this drop? And most likely, it popped. So if somebody was blowing it, boom, it popped, and it instantly loses all volume, okay? That would be the only way that this whole thing could work. So this is the idea, is we're going to take these concepts, apply them, and look at a graph, and we're going to be able to go back and forth. You're going to take a concept, or you're going to take a graph and create a concept of it, or you're going to be able to take a concept and then create a graph for it. So let's look at the next part here. So we can even do this with tables and matching them, and so we need to know, and we've talked about this a little bit last trimester, where we have, okay, so we have the total number of downloads versus how many days it took to get there, okay? And so if you look, so after the first day, we had 346. After the second, it was 1,011. The third, 3,400. And then 4, we got 10 million. Or 10,000. Numbers are hard, people. So what we have is that we're showing from this website, these are the 4 data points that we have, but which one represents this? So if you look, it's not a steady increase. It's like tripling almost every single time. Are we noticing that? So if it's tripling every single time, it's not a steady increase. It's not just going, oh, it's the same rate, going over, going over. It's also not kind of staying the same. So like this one, if we follow the path, goes up and then goes down, and it kind of looks like it flattens out. This one starts off high and goes low. This is the only one that makes sense because every single time it's tripling. So it's growing in this fashion, and that's the representation. So it's taking a graph and coming up with the points that represent that, or it's taking the graph and creating the points. And either way, we should be able to figure that out. So let's look at this. So what I would suggest is on some of these, pause the video and describe what's actually taking place here, okay? And so hopefully you paused it. Spoiler alert, I'm about to give the answer because I don't feel like wasting time. You had time to pause. So we're going to be taking a trip by car. Here's the miles we've traveled, and I'm guessing down here is the time. Hours. So, okay, hours is kind of hard to do, but we can do this. All right, so here's what we're looking at. So we have many different stages of this thing as we go through, okay? So what we have are several stages that we're looking at. So the first stage that we have, this little section here, you see how it's going to this point here. So as time goes on, we are going further. This is an increase. It's something happening. This is where it's increasing, it's going up. We are, you know, it's movement for the most part. Every single one of these is some sort of movement somewhere, whether it's on time or whether it's in the miles traveled. Excuse me. And so what we have, going back this other way, is so this part here to here is what we call constant. It's staying the same. It's going at the exact same rate the entire time. There's no change. There's no fluctuation. So we have an increase, we have constant, and then of course the last one that we would have would be a decrease. Okay? So in between these three stages is what we're actually looking for the key moments. It's for the parts that we actually look at and say, okay, this is happening at this stage. So here's what we're looking at. What I would say here is, let's say that this kind of scale changes a little bit. It's maybe not like this exactly, but we have a trip by car, okay? So for the first trip that we're traveling, for the first part of the trip, from A to B is a leg of our trip. And so we're increasing, meaning that we're increasing in miles and we're increasing in time. So as time goes on, we are actually getting further away than where we started, okay? Here to here, it's constant. So for these however many hours that we have, what, about 12 hours? Or no, excuse me, 7 hours. Sorry, it goes to 12. We're constant, meaning that we're not moving. We're not any further away than our original location. Then from here, we kind of start backtracking a little bit, and then all of a sudden we start taking off, and we end up going, what, 200 miles in the course of 5 hours. So here's what I would actually equate this to. So I'm going to put this in real life terms, ignore the hours and ignore the miles for a second. But it's still distance over time. Here's what I would look at this. I'm going to say that this is your trip to school. Okay? This is you guys going to school. Right? So you start leaving your house. So point A is your house. You leave your house, and a few minutes later, you stop at Quick Shop. So you stop at Quick Shop, and you're there at Quick Shop for a long time, but time still goes, right? So you're there chilling at Quick Shop, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh no, I forgot my backpack. And so all of a sudden you start heading back home. Now time is still going forward. It doesn't stop and go backwards because you can't go back in time. You're not a time traveler. And so then we end up having this thing goes down, meaning that you started going back. But did you quite make it home? You didn't quite make it home, because making it home would mean that, hey, I would be at 0. You're like, you know what? I'm running late to school. Forget it. I don't need my backpack. And you hurry up and go to school, right? You drive really fast. You realize you're going to be late, and you get there on time. So you travel very big distance very quickly. Okay? And that's what that steepness means. So that being as steep as it is, that's the idea. So that's what I'm wanting you to do, is be able to read a graph, understand it, and go through it. Okay? So same idea. We're talking water depth. So pause the video, sneezes, and it's not the Rona. And see if you can't figure out what this is. Bless me. Bless me, bless me. Again, we're still talking time to water depth. So here's what I would look at, is we'd start filling up, let's say, a bucket, right? So right now the bucket has no water. We start slowly filling up the bucket, and then all of a sudden we dump a whole bunch of water in there very quickly, okay? Then it stays the same for a while. We don't do anything with the water stays in the bucket, and then all of a sudden we pour a bunch out very quickly, and it goes to there. And then it stays at that level. And then all of a sudden I grab another bucket and I don't slow pour it. I just dump it in there. All at once, boom, it shoots straight up. Okay? And then all of a sudden these same things happen. It's all of a sudden a bunch of the water's gone. Right? So like we popped a big old hole into the bucket and it just drained a whole bunch. Then all of a sudden we cover. We cover the hole. It stays the same. Then we let the hole run a little bit, and then all of a sudden, as it's running out, we start pouring it out slowly. So it could be many different things. So you could do this over the course of a lot longer time. So you could do this over the course of, let's say it's raining, right? We get a huge rainstorm, then all of a sudden it rains really heavy, then it stays the same. Over some time, the rain goes away, the water goes away, whatever. That's what we have, and then it stays consistent. We have a big downpour again, yada, yada, yada. I don't care what you say it is. It's your imagination, but that's what we're looking at. Another situation where we're traveling, okay? This is time, this is distance. You're at home, you leave somewhere, oh no, you're running late, so you hurry up, okay? You stay at that location for a while, and then all of a sudden you decide, yo, to go back home. We're going to ignore that line for a second. So that's the whole idea, is you're just trying to figure out, so you have increase here, a steady increase here, your constant here, and then your decrease there. So your increase, constant, decrease. Let's see here. Let's see. Distance from home, we've already done that one. I like this one. No, that one's too easy. Try this one. Pause the video. Pause it right here. Pause. Unpause. Did you figure it out? We have time versus temperature. This is 100% Kansas on a regular day. We have a temperature, whatever it may be. Say it's 40 degrees. All of a sudden, later in the day, shoots up 50 degrees. I don't know. Then it goes right back down to 40 degrees again. Then it goes right back up to about 50. Then it goes back down to about 40. And then it skyrockets to, for whatever reason, it skyrockets to 65 degrees. And there we go. And that's the life cycle of Kansas and a fall day. Okay? 40, then jumps up to 50 for no reason. All of a sudden jumps right back down to 40 and then keeps jumping. Okay? So I'm going to send you guys some graphs that I want you guys to try to interpolate and try to extract information based upon where these kind of critical points are, right? Where you have increase, where you have decrease, where you have constants, all that stuff. So that's it, I believe, for today. So keep plugging away, keep doing what you're doing. Let me know if you need any help. Send me emails, send me stuff, do whatever you gotta do. I'll be around and I'll be happy to help. But thanks for watching. Thanks for being part of this. Bye, guys.